we're obsessed. So
that's exactly what I heard, that you're obsessed.
We overthink. Someone messages at 10 p.m. in the evening or on a random Sunday night thinking about something that we're going to do like 9 months down the line.
The first festival, the first time you opened the doors in 2022, how did that feel?
It felt really special. It felt really special. I remember we used to sell tickets. They used to sell out in 2 or 3 minutes, and people would message us like, "This is not real. Like, it's just a marketing strategy." Like, no, it's sold out.
Okay, and welcome to the Unbrandme Podcast, the Brandwagon podcast, where we interview and invite guests who have built brands over the years. It's the podcast where we don't try and just focus on the brand, but we try and focus on the lives of the entrepreneurs, on the brand builders that have built these brands. And as we say at Brandwagon, better people make better brands, and better brands make a better world. You've been one of those guests that people keep mentioning that we have to have you on this podcast. And even though I've been knowing you for a while from a distance, because again, Carl, one of the co-founders, used to work with us, we've never actually really engaged in much conversation. In fact, it's probably about 15 minutes of the most deepest of conversations that we've ever had over coffee. Kevin, welcome to the Unbrandme Podcast. Beyond all the stuff that's out there and beyond all the stories and obviously the hearsay, you and your co-founders have built probably one of the fastest growing and most exciting European brands in the music industry, or festivals at least. For Malta, for sure, I would say at this point in time, you are probably the biggest and probably the most renowned. So yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure. And I'm flattered to be on the top of your list.
You'll be on the top of the list for a couple of weeks for sure. Kev, a tough question that I like to ask a couple of our guests is to try and go behind the scenes of who you really are as a person. And I have to ask this question. So if you had to introduce yourself to me without mentioning your occupation, where you're from, where you grew up, what your hobbies, passions, what your religion is, and without any of the superficial markers that put labels on us, who would you say that Kevin Ellul is?
That's a really tough question. I think I'm overall a very calm person, and I love to surround myself with friends mostly. I'm a very social person, and friends and family as such. So I'm always out to have a good time, whatever I'm doing, and it keeps me fueled up.
We have a lot of common friends. In fact, I've asked a couple of your friends what are the things I should be asking you.
That's what I'm scared of.
There's been a lot of banter behind the scenes, and I won't mention the banter on this cue, Matthew. But they all say that you have really, really strong values, that you really, enjoy being very, very grounded. And that's a really interesting thing to say about somebody who's organizing festivals now, not only in Malta, but also around the world. I want to jump in, and before we talk about, what Glitch is and Dalma and everything you've been doing for the last 10 years, I want to go back in history and also try and understand your childhood and how it led to what you do today. So my first question is what was the first thing that you organized, and when did you realize, this could be fun, this could be something that we should be doing more of?
There was a big influence by my family in general. So I was always exposed to music, always loved electronic music since a very young age. At the time, obviously, it was very different. It was much harder to access music than it is today. You had to go to a record shop, buy records.
You're that old.
Yes, I'm that old. I gave it away in the first 2 minutes.
Not many people nowadays who listen to the show had to do that.
No. So it wasn't the case that you open a streaming platform and there's every kind of genre and spectrum of music available to you. So electronic music was always there for me. All sorts of good music. Mm-hmm. And aside from that, my cousin Carl was a big influence on it. So I actually joined in the event scene a little bit later. My cousin started before. There was actually another cousin, Rudy.
Okay.
And Carl and Rudy started Squadron at the time. I think it was.
Shout out to Carl, who was actually one of Brandwagon's very first designers. I think employee number 2 or 3.
I remember that. It was 2003, they were not even of a legal age of driving, so they used to bum lifts of everyone to organize the events themselves. I think they were 17 when they started. I am 2 years older. A couple of years down the line, Rudy ventured abroad. He continued his studies and music, and I kind of was the obvious choice maybe for Carl. I was always around helping, and I've been very close with Carl like throughout all my life. We're neighbors, so we're practically brothers. We did a lot together.
So before you actually started to organize the Squadron parties, there was nothing in your life preceding that said, "Oh, let's do events, let's do something."
No, nothing.
What did you study? How did you get into this?
I studied IT. I worked for I think 18 or 19 years in IT.
Okay.
And it's completely different to what I do now. However, that experience that I gained throughout my career, I managed to apply when creating this business together with my colleagues. Obviously, it helped a lot. I believe any skill you have, you can apply it anywhere in any industry.
Okay. And so you mentioned your love for music. You ever play any instrument?
No.
Or? No.
Tried.
Yes.
Not patient enough.
Fair enough. I think it takes some patience to get into the music.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So let's go back now. So tell us a bit about Squadron and tell us a bit how that became Glitch. Because I believe there's a really interesting story over here where you were a few competitors who came together. So let's go back to the Squadron history.
Exactly. So Squadron started in 2003.
Okay.
I think I joined around 2007.
Okay.
I remember the first event we did, really good one. Lost a lot of money on it.
You lost a lot of money on your first
You learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. Where was that?
That was in Sky Club.
Okay.
In Portugal. I remember it very well.
So how did you make up for those losses?
Oh, it was something you were prepared for, you know. It was a passion of ours, it still is, obviously, but it was more of a hobby.
Okay.
And behind the scenes, I knew what was going on. I loved it. Like I knew I wanted to pursue it.
Okay. And then how did that become Glitch?
So eventually, we used, at the time we used to do like 3-4 events a year, and a one-off bigger events, and you kind of reach a phase where there's no room for expanding. It's not just in terms of size, doing a more ambitious project, something that isn't available locally. The level of quality wasn't as it is today, obviously. It was much lower. So we always strive to improve, to always go a little bit better, a little bit further. Then it was in 2015, I was having this conversation with Carl, and he's like, I think it's time. Like, I think Malta is ready for a festival. Like, we can pursue it. Obviously, there are huge risks, financial, everything. It's not something you, like any other business, you can't go from 0 to 100 in a week.
Yeah.
So the beginning was very, very tough. We had a plan.
And you joined forces, no, with somebody else?
Yes. And he's like, the only way to do this without stepping on someone else's toes is to join our competitors. So we had never worked together, never. We had a normal friendly relationship.
Yeah.
We had a good relationship, but never worked together professionally. We messaged Andrew, and we met a couple of days later. We pitched the idea. I was like, I always wanted to do something like this. Let me think about it. I think I was just being cool about it, because the next day I messaged, let's do it.
Fair enough.
And we were really lucky that we hit it off from day one. And we're all very, very ambitious and like-minded and had the same goal together. So since we set out the first plans, we never looked back.
And at that point in time, so we're talking 2015, did you have plans of growing it as far as you have? I mean, was it ever, did you have a crazy vision already, or was this just it?
As in, not so crazy. Like if I look back, what we did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, is as well is also very different. So if you asked me 10 years ago if we'll be here, I would laughed off, you know. We always had a plan. Like initially we had, I would say, a 5-year plan. Not so ambitious, obviously. But from the start we knew that Malta's too small to host big events. It's always tough to attract numbers. And also the brand isn't something that's commercial. It's a niche in terms of the music being performed. So you're
narrowing your numbers.
You're narrowing down your numbers further. So we knew we're dependent on tourists coming in for the festival. So the challenges were obvious. So you have to fly in. It's not like we're in mainland Europe. Everything costs more if you're going to ship anything here. So we knew it would take time to nurture the brand, and we need to take it really slow. And that's what we did. We started off, our first edition was in 2016. We had 14 artists performing.
Now, big names?
Yes. So that's also worth a mention. We had a little bit of help from the industry, so we didn't start from zero completely. Us as individually, we already had good relationships within the industry. So when we pitched the idea to artists and agents, they understood what we're trying to achieve, what
Fantastic.
we're trying to do, and they gave it a shot.
So tell me a bit in terms of the roles that you guys play, because so you're now, how many people are part of the sort of the leadership team?
So the leadership team is 3 people. Fully employed with us, we're 7. And the team scales up, it grows, we outsource a lot.
Yeah.
So,
and what are the roles that you guys play? Besides everything.
It's very chaotic.
Let's talk about the planning phase, like between the 3 of you in the planning phase.
As in the planning phase, the nature of our business is very strange. So you don't start from zero every time, because there's always the brand backing you up, but it's always a new chapter. So every year you have to start over, creating a new lineup, making sure it's really strong, really competitive, making sure it's the right artists you need to book next year or the year after. So it's an ongoing process all the time. One thing we do, I think we really go overboard with booking artists, and it's something we have to do. I mean, if we had to host the same artist lineup, let's say in Amsterdam or Berlin, you would easily have 2-3 times the attendees. So the challenges are there. That said, Malta is attractive in a different way. So we also sell Malta as part of Glitch. It's part of the formula that we've managed to make work for the brand.
So people are coming for the festival, they're coming for the music, but also coming for the location, for the destination.
For sure, definitely.
The rumor out there is that you guys are ridiculously meticulous about how you plan out your lineup, about how everything is always perfect, how everything is extremely well curated. Does that come from you? It comes from Carl? It comes from all of you guys?
All of us have a really, we're obsessed. So
that's exactly what I heard, that you're obsessed.
We overthink. So someone messages at 10 p.m. in the evening on a random Sunday night, thinking about something that we're going to do like 9 months down the line.
I'd love to have a peek at that WhatsApp group chat. Maybe not.
Sometimes it gets to you, but yeah, I mean, it's that level of quality, I believe, that got us to where the brand is today. So our mission is always, whether it's a small club show created locally or Glitch, we want everyone attending to have a good time. As simple as that, whatever that means. So everything we do, we build up, is there for a reason.
I want to go back in time. I want to go back 9 years. To your very first Glitch, 10 and a half, let's put it that way, to your very, very first Glitch festival. And it is the only time, history, in Malta, where, was it BirdLife and the Hunters actually got together to attack you? They had one common enemy, and for once, it wasn't each other, it was you.
That was really random.
That was extremely random. What happened?
So the first edition was held at Busquets Roadhouse. It was
a national scandal at one
yes,
point.
It's a lovely venue. So at the time, the festival was held in September. It was over 2 days. So after the first day, we had the event, slept really late, and I remember my wife woke me up, like, I think you should wake up. Usually she knows that I need my sleep in the morning after a night like that. I woke up, she told me, you're on the news.
You're on the news. Had you been on the news before?
No. As in glitches on the news, not for the right reasons. And woke up, panic, calling friends, lawyers.
So what happened, entities. For those who don't know?
There was a flock of birds. I don't remember what kind of birds they were. And they were migrating, and they stopped in Busquets. And apparently we were threatening their livelihood. 2 days later, most of them were shot down.
By the same people who wanted you to stop the event.
I mean, somehow we managed to pull through the second day with no issues. But after that, it was clear that we couldn't use the venue anymore.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that you use as it's one of those challenges that you use to push you up, like take the positives out of it.
How did it feel waking up that morning and figuring out that the festival that you've been working on for so long?
Yeah, exactly. A horrible feeling, horrible, because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we walked in 2 hours before opening times. We found TV crews there waiting for us. It just doesn't make sense.
But
we didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly. The festival happened.
The festival happened. Turned out really well. We got a lot of press, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Never a bad thing.
Okay. One of the things which I find extremely interesting is that you guys have really managed to turn this into a really lucrative business, and you're doing extremely well. And at one point, in fact, 4 years down the line from this event, you decide that you guys are going to go full time.
Exactly.
I know that that you've got this kind of pet peeve that people call this a hobby and you call this a job. Where does that come from? What is it that people don't understand?
Well, I think that was pretty. We were always aware of it, but it became even more clear, like during COVID. So, as you mentioned, 4 years down the line, we decided to go full time on it. In the beginning, we all had our day jobs. We funded the events, and that's how it grew slowly. Went full time. Then a year later, COVID hit, and that's it.
How did that feel?
Horrible.
You also had you had your first son, right? At that point,
I had my first daughter. In 2019. She was a couple of months old when COVID started.
And you were already planning, obviously, what was going to happen in summer.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is planned ahead. Everything is paid for ahead. So we had everything at stake. And absolutely nothing was clear. It was a very, very dark period for us. And it became very evident that there's a complete lack of respect towards the art scene in general, not just entertainment or festivals. Any performing artists or anyone involved in the industry, their hobbies, they can stay home, they have to wait it out, even if their livelihoods completely depend on work, obviously. You just sit there and wait, and no one knew. Obviously, looking back, it's easier in hindsight to comment about it, but no one knew when it would end. So there was a complete lack of planning, which affected us. And
the lack of clarity. You never know.
The lack of clarity, and there is a complete insensitivity towards timing. No one appreciates that. You don't just wake up and say, next week we're throwing a festival. It takes months, years to plan every edition. Anyone who works in any sort of event would relate to this.
Before we go down that rabbit hole, what kept you sane throughout COVID when you knew that everything was on the line?
my friends, my family, and running.
Running.
I ran away from all my problems.
You're probably the fittest you've ever been.
Definitely. I doubt I'll ever be so fit.
Were you always into sports, or was it something that you just
Yes,
gravitated to?
as in I played football when I was younger. I kept on playing regularly throughout my 20s and 30s. Then decided that I'm too old for it.
Probably a sane idea.
Exactly. And took up running. It's something I enjoy a lot. Most of the times I do it with a close group of friends.
Okay.
So it's something very, very special to me.
Yeah, I think it's important that you have something which is keeping you sane throughout.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you grow up, you realize you need these sports to keep you balanced.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So what was the what year did the next festival happen? Was that 2021 then?
It was 2022. So we missed 2 festivals.
Okay.
In the meantime, we opened up for business, I think, on and off, maybe for 2-3 months.
Did you
in 3 years.
tap back into work at that point in time? Did you consider going back to a normal job at any point in time?
I was really adamant that I won't do that. So I tapped into all my savings, went literally through everything.
Kudos to you, but for hanging on in there.
Yes, and I fought really hard for our rights.
Respect.
Thank you.
The first festival, the first time you opened the doors in 2022, how did that feel?
It felt really special. It felt really special.
Do you remember the first song they played?
Yeah. It was like
describe the moment.
More than the festival, it was the first time we opened a club show.
Okay.
It felt really strange. Like the energy in the room was completely different to what we're used to. I remember we used to sell tickets. They used to sell out in 2 or 3 minutes, and people would message us like, "This is not real. Like it's just a marketing strategy." Like, no, it's sold out in 2-3 minutes.
Wow.
It's something that never happened, never will ever happen. And I remember the first time we opened, like when the DJ played the first song, when the beat dropped, it was like you're in a stadium and someone scored a goal.
Must have been electrifying.
Yes, we'll never live those emotions.
At least, hopefully not. Yeah.
Yes.
So at least a good confirmation that you were taking the right decision for not ever going to.
I mean, there are the positives about it. I remember we did a campaign, and it was a really good test for our brand. Not something we should have been doing intentionally, but we encouraged people to save their ticket. And
I remember reading your post. It felt like a real heartfelt post.
We're just really honest to everyone. So usually we start selling tickets months ahead.
Yeah.
And we had a 70% retention rate, which is incredible.
Excellent.
Like it felt
most of the brands out
so
there
special.
would pray to have that sort of retention rate.
And that saved the brand, I have to be honest. So really, really a big thank you to anyone who helped keep us afloat literally.
For sure. So what do you think makes the Glitch brand such a successful brand? Because it's more than just the festival. My kids know about the Glitch Festival, and hopefully they haven't turned up yet, but maybe we'll see. Maybe they will turn up soon when they legally can.
I think the energy at Glitch is really special. So something you mentioned before, we're really out for all the details. So when we plan out things, we're looking at are people going to enjoy the music? Are people going to enjoy that artist at that specific time? Is the build-up right? Is the curation right? Are the lights in the room working well? Is the sound going to work well? And ultimately, that shapes up the atmosphere at the right time, and people end up having the time of their lives. That's the secret.
Yeah, it's it. I mean, at least what I can tell from, I did a lot of searching about electronic dance music I've ever done in the last 40 years, in the last 2 weeks, just to figure out.
We'll see you next summer, right?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I should be there.
Yes.
Truth of the matter is, when you guys were launching Squadron and launching the Glitch festivals, I was raising 3 kids. So maybe it's time for my midlife crisis return.
Exactly.
I'll be that old man in the back. At what point did this become a global sensation? Because now you've done Melbourne, you've done Berlin, right?
Yes.
Is there Amsterdam as well?
There was Amsterdam as well last year.
So
and
how did that happen? I mean,
slowly.
You're probably one of our best exports at the moment.
Possibly one of
the best
them.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The strategy behind it is building up the brand and strengthening our position in key markets. So now we've established what the key markets for us are, and that became evident after a number of editions, not in the first 2-3 years. But having said that, we have a global audience, so it's usually like 80 plus countries from around the world. People come from
80 countries
all over the world.
What's the most random nationality you've seen on your list?
The most random and the most popular definitely is Australia.
Okay.
So
and has that got anything to do with Malta's?
That's fascinating. I think in the start it had. I mean, there definitely is a connection. Glitch is held in summer. It's bang in the middle of their winter, so
it's a good reason to fly.
It's a good reason to fly in for more summer for them, and it's really popular with Australians. Obviously, what we've done, we've realized this a couple of years down the line that there's potential there, and what happened organically. Then we've invested in. And we've put our efforts, marketing, and the way the lineup is curated. It's tailored for all those markets. But it's always overwhelming, like the number of people that come from there. Like last year we had almost 4,000 just from Australia. It takes over a day.
Quite a significant amount of people from the crew that attend, of course.
Yes.
But what led you to say, yeah, we're good, we're strong enough to do this. Let's go and let's do an event in Melbourne.
The first international event we did was in Berlin.
Okay.
2 years ago, and last year we did it again, and we also added Melbourne and Amsterdam. We have partners in all these countries, so every time we travel with the Glitch brand, everything ties in. Like the end goal is always the festival in Malta.
Right.
So we're not actively trying to take Glitch as a festival abroad in the same format. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get the full experience, you have to come for the festival. But obviously,
But where did the idea come from? So it was part marketing to organize the Glitch,
yes.
a Glitch event in Berlin. Where did that idea come from? I mean, somebody knocked on your door and said you should do this, or what's the?
We had
walk me through the thinking.
We've been approached. So there's a lot of working with other brands as well that we do. So there's a lot of collaborations, even at the festival. We have a number of stages. Some are hosted by other foreign brands, which are like-minded, established in different territories, and it makes sense either to have them there or to have an exchange. And Australia specifically, we had a number of offers for, I'd say, a couple of years before it actually materialized. And then we had Untitled contact us, and it was a no-brainer. Like, they're the biggest independent group in that area of the world. And they're like, we have to do a Glitch there. We love what you're doing.
And how does it feel?
It's surreal to be taking something Maltese to the other side of the world. It's incredible.
How does it feel for you, but like that you're exporting your baby, the thing that you.
We're very proud of Glitch being a local brand. So it's something that we pitch everywhere. Even when we started the brand, we were relatively established in the scene at the time, and we could have easily opted to get an established brand from abroad and throw a festival in Malta. But we always knew it wasn't for us. We wanted full control of creating your own baby. And till this day, that's something that fuels us and keeps us motivated, and to watch it evolve and shape up into what it is today. Not necessarily in growth terms, but the success behind it is just it keeps on driving us on a daily basis.
Are there any non-negotiables when you're building this brand? Like, are there any key principles, key values that you guys are all aligned on, that this is never, we will never do anything out of this?
Yes, most particularly like artists, what artists perform, how long they perform. Obviously, it's very tempting to have a lot of artists on your lineup, but at the same time, we know that good performances need a certain duration throughout the night. So you'd see a lot of festivals abroad having like really short sets, and just to have a lot of names on their lineup. It's something we avoid, and
you're always chasing the experience, basically.
We're always chasing the experience, and we've always strived to include as much local talent as we can, like across any sort of discipline, not just performing as like suppliers, people backstage, anyone that makes Glitch happen. Like, as much as we can, we try to outsource locally and involve as many people as we can, and offer the platform. We're really proud about the brand being Maltese, and it's obviously makes it even more special coming out from Malta. As in, for any business, you would know. So even when I think about our initial plans, like when you asked me, did you have the plans to go global? Especially like when we chose the name, it was a nightmare to pick the right name. You would know.
It's a job we hate to win.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice experience, but it's really nerve-wracking to get it right.
And where did it come from? So the word Glitch.
We had a number of options. At the time when we were planning the festival, we didn't tell a lot of people about it, so we made sure like to surprise everyone, especially locally. But we had close friends. We kind of conducted a little survey. To be honest, Glitch, I think, wasn't our number one.
Do you remember what your number one was?
It was Boeing.
Boeing?
Yes.
Could have been Boeing. Probably would have worked in Australia more, but maybe not.
No. Everyone says Boeing when they read it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But it was pretty clear that Glitch is the most popular choice. And then Carl drew it up. It works as a logo. It works this way. It works that way. It's going to happen.
That's sick.
And then we did our research. We looked it up. So we look at other brands. Being a festival, like on the international landscape, you're always going to look even outside of Malta. Our goal was always like, our competition is abroad. We need tourists to fly in. So we're competing on a global landscape. So we had to make sure that Glitch is not a brand somewhere else as well.
What is the best thing about organizing a festival like this in Malta?
The satisfaction that after every edition, when everything goes to plan mostly, and people come up to you and telling you that they've had the time of their lives.
And the worst thing?
The worst thing? Worrying about things outside of your control. Like, there's so many variables.
Run me through a bit of that anxiety that you must be going through.
Mostly the weather.
Mostly the weather.
Yes.
One of the things you can't control at all.
Exactly. You have no control over it. It's useless worrying about it. You have to be prepared for it. But that's it mostly, because then, as in problems, there will be, definitely, no matter how much you plan. Artists miss flights, there's bad weather in Europe at the time maybe, and you're always firefighting.
What's the most sketchy fire that you've had to put out, besides the birds?
The birds wasn't the worst on site. I think the worst came on the second year. So the next year we moved to Jampula, where the festival is still held to date, and at the time it was still held in September, and it was the 8th of September, and we had a really bad storm. That was like 30 millimeters of rain 2 hours before we opened. It was a complete disaster. We opened a little bit late, and somehow we managed to pull through. I remember the light guys telling us, the stage will not work. And we're like, it has to work. we got it partially working, like half the lights were working, and we managed to pull through. I remember at that time we all looked at each other and said, we're moving the date.
After the festival, you decided to move the date.
Yes.
Did you look at each other before and said, like, shit, this is not going to happen?
I mean, it was so chaotic. Like we had people running around everywhere trying to clean up, tidy up the place.
So there's a huge risk.
Yeah, there's a huge risk, and I mean, with every edition, you're everything's at stake. At the time, we're still reinvesting a lot. So especially in the beginning, we invested heavily in the brand and in all the product. So there was a lot at stake. It could have ruined us, literally.
Can't just imagine. But you sound like you have a lot of pure conviction, in terms of like you see it through, that you're going to make it happen. Where does that come from? I mean, is there anything in your history, in your past, in your genetics? Because obviously there's a cousin involved here that really pushes you to just go for it.
Somehow everyone pushes each other, and we always manage to pull through. Over the years, the team grew slowly, and we have an amazing team. Like after every edition, everyone's exhausted. I don't know how. Like we could really thank everyone involved. Like sometimes I question, why do you do it, guys?
Why? Tell me why.
It's like when you're walking at 6 a.m. carrying some big heavy box, and like, why do I do this?
But that's just before the event, and then after the event happens.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone loves it. Everyone loves to be involved. There's a good, really nice community feel, especially from both people attending and people working or volunteering at the festival.
Do you think that's unique to you guys, or is it something within the industry?
I wouldn't know for sure, but it's quite special to us. So we always make sure like to keep ourselves surrounded by the right people, and our mind is always at least at ease that everyone has the right intentions.
So many questions are coming to my mind right now. Let me give you a hard one. What have you had to sacrifice on a personal level to get to this success?
A lot of time. So, especially in the beginning, I remember we used to have weekly meetings at least, and we used to meet up after our day job. So it would have been 6, eat something, feel tired after eating, start working, and it would be 1, 2 a.m. Next day you wake up tired because you didn't sleep enough, back to work, and back to your every other responsibility that you have in your life. It's still a very special period. When you look back, it's those times that you were still dreaming, and now the dream is real, and it's very special to us. And I wouldn't say we're lucky, but we're really privileged to be doing something we absolutely love.
How do your kids feel about your job? When they go to Scrum, your kids are still fairly young.
Yes.
But when they're introducing, my dad's a lawyer, my mom's
I try to tone it down, as in they're really young. The eldest one's starting to figure it out. I show them videos, they show a little bit of interest, so they know what it's about. At a point, they thought I'm a dancer, because they say, Papa goes dancing to work.
Oh, brilliant. Can you dance?
No. So it's very hard to convince them that we also have an office, and it takes planning.
I'd love to come to your office though one day. You should invite me for coffee.
Whenever you want.
Be a fly on the wall in those meetings. It must be real fun.
It is.
As stressful as it is.
Yeah, also stressful like any other job.
Yeah.
Any other job.
Now, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about organizing festivals?
I'm sure like any event, even like if you go smaller to the smallest of events, everyone thinks it's easy probably. Like, you just book the DJ,
sure,
book the equipment, sell some tickets, and that's it. Well, it's like me and you trying to play football. We're not Messi and Ronaldo, right?
Yeah, well, with me trying to play football, it's not even close, let alone.
So when I look at people who have come a long way, or brands that have come a long way, I'm sure that behind the scenes there's a lot of hard work, dedication, and a painful process probably along the way.
Yeah. What does success in life, so not just in English, what does success in life mean to you?
Being happy.
What does being happy look like? Like in 30 years from now, when you're probably retired.
I hope.
I hope.
I'm already too tired to do it.
When you're retired, what does success look like?
Looking back, leaving something that's highly influential, like the way Glitch has established itself in Malta, the way it is, as one of the biggest festivals internationally. I think it's always going to be special. And
Glitch's baby brother, Dalma, or baby sister, you decide which one you're going to go.
I struggle to find a reference for it.
You chose a Maltese name.
Yes.
Talk to me about Dalma. How did that come about?
We always wanted to do something different. So along the way, 3 years before that, even before Dalma, 3 years down the line, after we started Glitch, we decided to consolidate everything, and we stopped doing our other events and started off the Glitch Club series. So it's basically anything you find at Glitch in club format and on a more regular basis. So we're out to have established the community and book more artists throughout the year. A couple of years down the line, we started thinking about Dalma. We wanted to do something completely different. So we always wanted to have the association. It made sense. It's very tempting, but it's not Glitch. It's completely different. So it's a special production. I think it's unique to Malta to have something in that shape and form in the winter months. It's indoors, so it's completely different. The production is really, really cool. That was the goal there. We want to do something that we've never done, that was never done here. And we're basically trying to build up another baby.
Well, it's really interesting, and kudos to you for trying to continue to reinvent yourself. And I think just through this conversation, you seem to keep always wanting to improve and always wanting to do something new. Where does that come from? The not sticking just to the formula, or is that the formula that you always have to reinvent so that you keep people engaged?
Yeah, exactly. You have to keep it fresh, and you have to. It always has to be not different, but special. In a way, we listen to people's feedback as well, so we're always looking at ways on how to improve the experience overall. And it's something we take very seriously. We do customer surveys, and we look into each and every comment. And some things where still you wouldn't have spotted yourself. Like it, maybe not.
Give me one of the biggest surprises.
Not a surprise, but for example, this year it was very evident that we need to introduce a new stage. So we have 8 stages at Glitch. Obviously, not all the stages can take the full capacity. So if everyone wants to listen to that particular artist, you have a problem. What we do, and people don't love so much, is create clashes throughout the timetable. And that way we balance out. We make sure that the people spread out throughout the site safely, and everyone fits in. But from time to time, you get a little bit of issues. It's normal at festivals, like at any festival. The stages are smaller than all the cap. And for example, this year we decided to extend the site a little bit and introduce a new stage, just to keep
growing it and
to make it more comfortable.
Oh, good. Who is the artist that you've most enjoyed working with, or one that really stood out?
A lot. There are a lot.
What makes a good artist?
I appreciate someone that's been doing it consistently for a number of years. So it's from from an artist perspective and even from our perspective, it's very competitive, and it's very tough to survive in such an industry. So if I look at artists
really good. Yeah, you have to be
that
consistent.
have been doing it for 20, 30 years, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I want to chuck a bunch of lightning fast questions to you. Okay, this is going to be fun for me. What's your greatest weakness that your co-founders have to deal with every day?
Maybe being too relaxed about certain circumstances.
Well, I suppose they need one person to be relaxed about it. What does that look like? Them getting furious that you're too chilled?
Yes, definitely.
So who is the one that panics most?
Obviously, you
Yes.
know it.
Okay. We'll leave him out of this game. What do you miss most about the very, very early days? Like, is there anything that you miss about the days when Glitch wasn't so big?
I think it's something all of us miss and will never get to experience. I think to really experience the festival.
Right.
So every time we look at the festival poster, you look at it and you're like, this is a festival I want to attend, and we're not able to do that.
You can't.
No,
You never.
I mean we do it not at Glitch.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see the other question, so I'm going to pick another one for you. What is the ultimate skill that somebody needs, or talent that somebody needs to do what you guys have done?
A lot of different skills you learn on the job. It's so vast and so challenging. It's very hard to like even when we come to grow the team, like what skill are we lacking or where do we need help? It's very hard to find. First of all, it's very hard to find people working in the industry, especially locally. Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't know how to answer it really well.
Fair enough. What do you look for in terms of attitude then in the people that you hire? What is like the type of like that guy's or this person is definitely a Glitch person or not?
Do it like you own it.
Do it like you own it. So this ownership mentality.
Yes, definitely.
2026, your 10-year anniversary Glitch Festival. What's happening? What's coming about? What are you most excited about?
It's very special to us. Like 10 years is a big number, especially for the festival.
It's a huge number. I don't think many festivals last 10 years.
Exactly. We're excited about a lot of different tweaks. Especially to the production. The lineup is absolutely the best we've ever had. I don't know how we're going to manage to top it up again.
Wow.
Quite honestly. Yeah.
All right, we've reached the end of this, but I want to ask you one very, very tough question for you because you come from the music industry. And I suppose over the last decade, and probably a few of the decades before this, you've had so many different moments in your life. If they had to make a movie about your life and they had to choose one song for the playlist, for the soundtrack, what is the soundtrack of your life?
That's the worst question you could have asked.
You're welcome.
Your Love, Frankie Knuckles.
I want to pretend I have no idea. No, I have no idea who this person is, but I'll definitely go look it up. Kevin, I really enjoyed that. This is like, you are probably one of the most unique entrepreneurs that we've actually met on this show. I think you've put a really interesting spotlight on what it means to create events and festivals like this. And I always had a lot of respect for you, but I have so much more respect for you now after hearing the story. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.